I still remember the exact moment the music stopped. 1 second, the string quartet was easing into a soft melody, sunlight bouncing off the lake behind us, my bride's fingers warm in my hand. And the next second, everything froze. Chairs creaked. Someone whispered too loudly. And then a voice, sharp, irritated, confident in a way only certain people are confident, cut straight through the air. "This doesn't look authorized. I'm calling the police." Not yelled, not panicked. Said like she was ordering coffee. I felt Amara's hand tighten around mine, just a little. Enough to tell me she felt it too, that familiar shift. The one where joy drains out of a room and gets replaced by suspicion. I didn't turn right away. I didn't need to. I already knew what kind of look was being aimed at us. I've seen it my whole life. The look that says you're out of place and I'm about to prove it. When I finally looked over, I saw her standing near the edge of the property, arms crossed, lips tight, eyes scanning our guests like she was inventorying stolen goods, neatly dressed, confident, certain she was doing the right thing. And just like that, my wedding stopped being a celebration and turned into a problem that needed solving. People assume a lot when they look at me. They see a black man in a tailored suit and think it must be rented. They see calm and assume confusion. They see silence and mistake it for weakness. Nobody ever thinks maybe I know exactly what's happening. The police cruisers arrived faster than I expected, lights flashing, tires crunching gravel. A sound that never means anything good no matter how innocent the situation actually is. Amara's smile was still there, but it had gone tight around the edges. The kind of smile you wear when you're trying not to let the moment crack you in half. "Are they really doing this?" she whispered, barely moving her lips. "Yeah," I said softly, "they are." The officers approached cautiously, hands hovering near their belts. The woman, our neighbor, apparently marched right up to them, pointing back at us like she'd caught someone mid-crime. "I've lived here for years," she said loudly, making sure everyone could hear. "This venue was never reserved for this. They're trespassing. I want them removed. This. Not us. Not the couple getting married. This." I felt something settle in my chest. Not anger, not fear. Something heavier. Recognition. I'd seen this before, from the other side. I could have ended it right there. I could have reached into my jacket, pulled out my ID, introduced myself, watched the whole tone flip on a dime. I knew exactly how that movie ended. But I didn't. Because I needed to know something. I needed to know if this was about rules or about who they thought deserved to be here. The venue manager showed up flustered, trying to smooth things over. He confirmed we had a reservation, paid in full, months in advance. He even offered to show the paperwork. She waved it off. "Anyone can fake emails," she said. "Look at how many of them there are. This isn't the kind of event this place is meant for." That's when I felt Amara tremble. Not dramatically, just enough that only I noticed. I leaned in and whispered, "Hey, look at me." She did. "We're getting married today," I said. "Nothing changes that." But even as I said it, I could feel the weight of the moment pressing down. Guests were pulling out their phones. The music tried to resume, then faltered. The air felt thinner somehow. One of the officers turned to me. "Sir, we've had reports of an unauthorized gathering." I nodded. Calm, polite. "I understand. Do you have proof of reservation?" "We do," I said. "It's already been shown to your colleague." The neighbor scoffed. Of course he'd say that. I looked at her then, really looked. She wasn't angry. She wasn't scared. She was offended. Offended that we existed so comfortably in a space she had mentally marked as hers. At one point, an officer suggested very politely that maybe we should move the reception indoors to avoid further disturbance. I almost laughed, because I'd heard that language before. Be less visible. Be easier to manage. Don't make people uncomfortable. Amara looked out at the lake, at the decorations we'd planned for months, at the sunlight we'd timed just right. Her eyes glossed over. "Do we have to?" she asked me quietly. I felt it then, the pressure, the cost of staying silent. But I also felt something else. Resolve. "We'll wait," I said. "Just a little longer." Then the neighbor said it, loud enough for everyone, clear as day. Why would people like this even be here? The sentence landed and just hung there. No one laughed. No one spoke. Even the officers shifted uncomfortably. That was the moment. Not because it hurt, though it did, but because it told me everything I needed to know. This was never about reservations. I took a slow breath, reached into my jacket. Not dramatically, no sudden movements. When I pulled out my badge and held it up, I didn't say anything at first. I didn't have to. The change was immediate. Postures straightened, faces drained. One officer actually took a step back. "Sheriff Marcus Hale," I said calmly, "County Sheriff's Department. And this is my wedding." You could have heard a pin drop. The neighbor's mouth opened, closed, opened again. I didn't know," she stammered. I tilted my head slightly. "If you had known," I asked quietly, "would any of this have happened?" She didn't answer. The officers apologized, quickly, earnestly, too late. "I want statements," I said, "from everyone involved." They nodded, all of them. And here's the thing, this wasn't satisfying in the way people think it is. There was no rush, no triumph, just a dull confirmation of something I'd known my whole life. Respect that only shows up when power walks in the room isn't respect at all. We finished the ceremony. The music played again, softer now, like it was trying not to disturb anyone. Amara and I danced. People clapped. Smiles returned. But something had shifted permanently. Later investigations happened. Reports were filed. That neighbor. She faced consequences she never imagined when she picked up that phone so casually. But that part isn't the point. The point is this: if I hadn't had that badge, if I'd been just another man in a suit, how would that day have ended? Would we have been asked to leave? Would our wedding have been dismantled piece by piece while everyone told us it was just procedure? I think we all know the answer. That night, after the guests left and the lights dimmed, Amara leaned her head on my shoulder and said, "I hate that it took that." "So do I told her. But I also knew something else. Sometimes letting injustice fully show itself is the only way to expose it. So I'll ask you this, and I really want you to think about it. If respect only comes after someone proves who they are, was it ever real to begin with? Tell me what you think. I'll be reading the comments.